Today I will be giving my initial thoughts and mini review of the Coros Apex 46mm GPS watch for ultra running, trail running, running in general, as that is my background. And I'm going to go over a few main areas. Number one, the construction. Number two, the feature set. Number three, the mobile interface. And number four, the battery life. At the end, I will give my overall score based on what I've seen so far. So the construction, as you can see, it's a nice slim watch. Has a sapphire crystal. I'm not worried about scratching the sapphire crystal at all. If I were to scratch the sapphire crystal, I will be doing something that I really shouldn't be doing. So for the most part, I think this is a pretty solid construction on the crystal. Has a titanium bezel, very lightweight. The band itself is the silicone band that came with the Apex, and it is a very comfortable, very pliable band. I have pretty small wrists. I have to put it on one of the tighter settings, I guess, but overall I find this band very comfortable. I'm not one to usually wear a watch at night, but I don't have any difficulties wearing it overnight. This is the 46mm version, and it's not too bulky on my small wrists, as you can see. And as I said, it's nice and lightweight, and I hardly notice it's on. Okay, now into the feature set. Well, I've been an endurance athlete for 37 years, I believe, and I've seen lots of fads come and go over the number of years. This watch has everything I need as an endurance runner. I moved from triathlons, Ironman distance triathlons, over into ultra running in the last few years, and it has everything I need, and it has more. Has the ability to upload GPX tracks on it, customizable screens, check. Altimeter, barometer, compass, accelerometer, gyroscope, check, 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 and check. Has an optical heart rate. And from what I've tested on the optical heart rate, it's about as accurate as you're going to get for a wrist-based optical unit. Are they perfect? No, I would never say that optical heart rate is perfect. If you want perfection, you should go with a chest strap heart rate sensor, and this can connect to the chest sensor as well. GPS accuracy, and based on what I've seen in my initial testing, GPS accuracy has been very good. Again, just like with the optical heart rate, never expect anything to be perfect for a unit, a watch this small that contains this many other things. The GPS is very good. Don't expect it to be perfect in anything with lots of trees and large buildings and whatnot around, because that will interfere with any GPS unit, so it doesn't matter what unit you have. I like the fact that this does not have a touchscreen, because if you live in a cold climate like where I live in Calgary, half the year you're going to be wearing gloves, and in order to use a touchscreen interface, like I have an Apple Watch as well, you have to take your gloves off to use the screen. And this would just use it's like a digital crown that Apple has, the wheel on the side here, and it works extremely well for unlocking a device. So that's the feature set I have for it. Back to the wheel, sorry, a little bit to add in is that this has a very good tactile feel. It's good vibration feedback, and you almost feel like you're listening to a Marky Mark song, good vibrations and all. So there's lots of haptic feedback on it. It's got a really strong haptic motor, stronger than what you'd find in, say, my Apple Watch, for instance. As far as the mobile interface is a very good interface for a unit that's, or a company that's only about 3 years old since they started making it. And I will switch over to show you a little bit about the mobile interface. So here we have the Coros app. This is the landing page. We have a list of the total calories for the day, your active energy, any exercise segments that you've done, steps, heart rate, sleep, any workouts, what your training load is, your fitness level. An example of heart rate, when you select it, it will take it in landscape mode. And from then you can see your heart rate throughout the day. If you scroll, you'll go through your minimum, max, averages. Daily average is up on the right hand side. Went for a nice easy run with my wife today, hence the nice low heart rate here. And then we can go into our exercise segments. Shows the run that we did, total workout time, average pace, best kilometer, heart rate, calories. And then we go through, we see the pace, cadence, stride length, running power, elevation, gain and loss, heart rate zones based on what you put in for your max heart rate, and then your lap pace. Again, if you select something like the elevation graph, it takes it in landscape mode. And then as you scroll through the time, notice in the right hand corner there we have the elevation change. We are at about 1,200 meters here where I live in Calgary. And if you select something like heart rate, it compares your heart rate to the elevation or your running power. Again, you can deselect elevation, deselect heart rate, all in the handy mobile app. Go through the shields and it gives you, much like in Apple Watch, it gives you your awards. And then you go to your device, bottom right hand corner, and you can change the watch face, the workout data, customization. So when to customization, you can change your workout menus. I have mine preset for the different activities that I do. Get your firmware updates, have your routes loaded in here by a GPX file. And that's a brief rundown. It's a pretty darn slick interface for a GPS watch. The next item I'm going to touch on is battery life. If you are in the market for a GPS watch for your outdoor pursuits, usually you have a trade-off between GPS tracking and then 24/7 tracking of heart rate and calories burned and steps and everything like that. And I've tried numerous devices over the number of years, and you either have very good GPS tracking on some of the Suunto watches. As an example, one that I used in the past was the Ambit 2, and then you have other watches that are good for standby time, but I've never come across a watch that has an excellent combination of both of those things. Now, I purchased this Coros watch, this Apex watch, on Friday of last week. It is now Wednesday. On Friday, I had it charged to 92%. Since then, the watch has been on my wrist the entire time. I've done a 4.5 hour trail run on the weekend. I've done 2 shorter runs. One was around 40 minutes and the other one was around 35-ish minutes. So we're looking at over 5.5, closer to 6 hours of GPS tracking, full GPS tracking, sleep tracking, optical heart rate on. And since it's a new device, I've been using it a lot more, going into customizations and playing around with it. But as you can see, this is now 5 days later, and I've gone from 92% As you can see right now, I'm at 56% battery life. So to say the battery life on this thing is extremely remarkable. I have no idea what kind of voodoo magic Coros does for such a watch that's so basically it is very thin compared to some of the other ones I've tried. I don't know what they're doing with their battery management software, but it is exceptional from what I've seen. This watch will set you back in Canada for the 46 millimeter, $450. In my opinion, if you get a Garmin with the similar feature set, you're going to pay substantially more than $450. You're not going to get a Garmin for that price. So I'll come back to my overall initial thoughts in a bit. Again, I'm back. So for the my overall thoughts on this device, the pros I have are the price, the feature set, the construction, and of course that exceptional battery life. Those are big pros in my book. I do have a couple of things that would be nice for them to change. Number one would be for them to have some type of either an iPad or tablet app or a mobile, sorry, not a mobile interface, a web interface, so that you could actually go on a larger screen rather than looking at everything on a, on your 5-inch iPhone or whatever you're looking on. If you could have a bigger screen to look at all your metrics, I think that would be very beneficial, especially when you're going to download some GPX files and you have to play around with dragging and dropping and whatnot. And it's a bit of a pain to do it on a mobile device. It can be done, and they actually do a very good job of it, but I wish that they had a web interface or an app that actually fits on an iPad or other tablet rather than just a small mobile app that scales up. So that's the one con I have. A second one would be, and this is a pretty small gripe, is the visuals on the watch faces themselves. Tweak it a little bit after coming from some other devices, other GPS devices, it's very similar. But when you've had an Apple Watch on your arm as well, it's hard to go between that and the screen interface of this watch. But that's a pretty minor gripe. I'm not expecting it to be like an Apple Watch. And the only other small little concern I have would be that on this device, if there was a way to change the screen brightness, I know that Coros is doing what they can to achieve the best battery life possible, and they want you to keep the screen brightness at a certain level, but it'd be really nice if sometime in the future that they could do that. So those are my initial thoughts on the Coros Apex. I consider this an exceptional watch for sure, and I would give this a solid 9 out of 10, and 2 big thumbs up from me. And I will be posting a review later down the road when I've had a chance to put it through many more hours and many more adventures. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you like this video, hit the like button, and if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be wonderful, and I'll keep on producing videos in the future. Thanks again, everyone. Peace.